So whilst the markets are absolutely abysmal to look at right now, there is no doubt that they will of course be going back up. When they do, you should be positioned in the right coins, in the right narratives to ensure that you make as much money as possible. It's no secret that the right narrative, both in the real world and within crypto, is AI. And it will soon come to fruition that the right coin is Bittensor. Of course, that's just my opinion, but I hope you're doing well, people. With some significant updates and developments to Bittensor and it being on an attractive pullback right now, I thought it's best to make an updated video giving my thoughts on the project. It goes without saying, but none of this is of course financial advice, and I don't and never have done any paid shills. I'm just using my 6-year experience in crypto along with my career as a financial advisor to best research, analyze and invest in the optimal projects. So Bittensor. I've yapped on about this one for over a year now. I don't really know how best to structure this video as I've comprehensively covered TAO already a few months back. So I'll just give a very brief overview of the project and then focus more so on the recent developments, which, in all honesty, are revolutionary for the coin and put it in an excellent position to excel both this year and in the future. At its core, and as simply as possible, Bittensor is a decentralized marketplace for intelligence. To this day, I struggle to simply explain Bittensor, and I know it's not just me. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of Barry Silbert, but this guy is a Bitcoin billionaire. I believe he first bought Bitcoin when it was around $11 over 10 years ago. Now, some people got lucky when they first bought their Bitcoin. Just because you're early doesn't mean you understand the tech or that you're a savvy investor. Barry is different as he is a serial entrepreneur. He founded DCG, which is the parent company of Grayscale, the crypto asset manager. He recently wrote an interesting piece on TAO, and he has actually been bullish for a very long time. The key takeaways from this letter was essentially the future of decentralized AI and seeing it as a transformative shift, which he describes as being as big, if not bigger, than Bitcoin itself. Massive words. He reveals their first investment into TAO was in 2021, and he likens the project to Bitcoin, which, if you've been watching my content, I have done many times in the past too. The name itself, the 21 million max supply, similar halving schedule, 100% fair launched with no VCs. It's hard to not draw resemblance. But yeah, he describes Bittensor as the World Wide Web for intelligence, where anyone can innovate and contribute freely. That kind of beats my previous definition, so yeah, 1-0 to Barry right now. But he also briefly mentions subnets and says they could have an explosion similar to the Cambrian explosion of websites, running from the current 64 into the thousands. A very interesting letter from a mind which is proven to be ahead of the curve. Quick break to ask, why are you not in my Discord? It's 100% free, no questions asked. By being inside, you significantly increase your chances of making mega money this cycle. Nothing more to say, link is down below, I'll see you inside. Right, let's talk about the crucial updates coming to the project and how it significantly improves Bittensor. We mentioned subnets. The analogy I like to use for subnets is to think of them like mini departments within a larger organization, be it HR, sales, tech, finance, etc. Each subnet has its own individual purpose within Bittensor and in theory could be its own company. It could be LLMs, image generation, file storage, compute, anything really. TAO uses a hybrid proof of work and proof of stake consensus mechanism. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the details. This is a simplified video. Essentially, Bittensor rewards the AI contributors with TAO tokens. Validators decide which subnets get rewarded based on their value. Now, in theory, this was supposed to mean that the best AI models were rewarded the highest. However, in practice, this was not the case, and it led to a lot of inefficiencies. Human bias and manipulation led to copyweighting, validators favoring their own subnets and being susceptible to bribes. Scaling issues were prevalent as there were way too many subnets and therefore validators couldn't evaluate them all effectively. There was no incentive to actually improve and innovate, as rewards could just be set and forgotten about. And overall, the best subnets didn't get the TAO they deserved, which could become a deterrent for the best projects from wanting to be part of the Bittensor ecosystem, significantly capping the potential. This was known to the developers and the community, therefore they put Dynamic TAO in the works. This is set to be released on the 13th of February. The white paper is out, feel free to give it a read. I did, it gave me a headache, so again, I'm just going to try simplify it as much as possible. With Dynamic TAO, instead of humans assigning rewards, it will use a new mechanism based on subnet tokens to determine AI value automatically. So, subnet tokens, think of them like stocks. Each subnet will now have its own token. These tokens represent ownership or a stake in the subnet's AI services. The more demand for a subnet, the higher its token price. We also have market-based value discovery. Instead of validators manually assigning weights, the market now decides how valuable each subnet is. Users stake TAO into subnet pools and receive subnet tokens in return. The price of these tokens determines how much TAO a subnet earns in emissions. Finally, we've got automated market makers, or AMMs. These handle trading. This system kind of works like a decentralized exchange where people can buy and sell subnet tokens. If an AI subnet performs well, people will obviously want more of its tokens, driving up demand. Higher demand equals more rewards, lower demand equals fewer rewards. You might be thinking, that's a lot of technical talk. How is this better for TAO? Well, firstly, there's no more manual validator bias, which was a big problem before. Now, AI subnets earn exactly what they're worth based on actual market demand. It also makes the ecosystem a lot more scalable. As new subnets join, the system naturally adjusts instead of relying on human votes. There are better incentives too. Validators now have financial reasons to support the best subnets instead of just picking favorites or accepting shady dealings. I don't actually know if that was confirmed to be going on, but it was definitely a possibility. And arguably the most important benefit, efficiency and innovation are ramped up. The best AI models will attract the most capital, leading to better innovation. Kind of what this is all about. Think of it like this. Instead of a small group deciding what's valuable, the entire network gets to decide by voting with their money. To my fellow economists out there, it's like moving from a planned or command economy, where a few people allocate resources, to a free market economy, where supply and demand determines everything. Absolutely essential in truly open source, decentralized and democratized AI. So what does this mean for staking? So far, if you were staking your TAO, you were getting anywhere between a 14 to 18% reward, depending on your validator. And this was risk-free. This risk-free option is still available with dTAO by staking at root. However, the rewards will severely diminish over time. I believe it starts similar to current levels, but after a few months it will halve and could drop to as low as 2 or 3%. Not the best rewards, of course, and to a lot of you it may not even be worth it, but at the end of the day it is safer. Now for the alternative, I'm about to get the degens excited. You can stake TAO to individual subnets of your choice and earn the dTAO token of that subnet. Maybe think of TAO as ETH and dTAO tokens as ERC20 tokens. Each subnet is basically its own economy, all with a max 21 million supply of dTAO and I believe 14,000 emissions per day. The subnet token's price is determined by the balance of TAO versus dTAO in the pool. The more people that stake TAO into a subnet, the more valuable its token becomes. So a very simplified example, let's say you stake 10 TAO to a subnet because you like its potential. You'll have 10 dTAO. The subnet performs well, therefore demand increases, more staking of TAO, better rewards, and now your initial 10 TAO is worth 20 TAO. You have 2x your total TAO. Crazy. Also, I'm sick of saying TAO. I've seen a metaphor calling Dynamic TAO and subnets the pump fund of Bittensor, and whilst the metaphor is kind of fitting, I just don't like the animosity around pump fund. Also, I can't get on the website because it's banned in the UK. But that's essentially what these subnets are. We're going to see more and more devs incentivized to build on Bittensor. If you are early to the right one, you can literally 2, 5, 10x your total TAO balance. But of course, this ain't without its risks. Whilst the previous staking model was essentially risk-free, delegating to subnets could be costly. I don't want to explain potential slippage or liquidity risks because not enough information is available yet. But in terms of the largest risk, it's down to subnet performance. If it performs well, you get more tokens. If it performs poorly, you will end up with less tokens. Simple as that. It's a nightmare scenario if you end up delegating your hard-earned TAO to the wrong subnet and ending up with less, or even possibly losing it all. So if you want to take on the extra risk, extreme due diligence is needed on which subnet you're delegating to. The earlier you are, the better of course, but I'd exercise caution. It may be worth being patient for a few weeks after the launch of dTAO to see how subnets and the market is performing before attempting to dive in, just staking to root. But it definitely favors savvy investors who are adept at investing in the right subnets. Could be AI agent subnets, DeFi AI, DeSci, anything. If you don't have time to pretty much trade subnets and want a more passive approach, stick to root staking. I'll be constantly researching to find the right ones, and no doubt my community will be doing too. So join the Discord, I'm sure we'll help each other out. So on top of the already massive update we discussed, we got arguably an even bigger one. Coinbase has finally decided to announce a listing for TAO. About damn time. I've been calling for this one since forever. My suspicions were that they never had reached their target allocation due to having to buy on the open market. They don't actually get given anything. But we finally see it. Probably the most important exchange for coins in terms of access to retail. Now TAO will be on multiple tier 1 exchanges, Binance, Coinbase, Kraken. No excuses for retail not getting their hands on it. I'm predicting the easily influenced ones to see Bittensor, think, it sounds similar to Bitcoin, and throw money in, hoping it will one day reach 100k too. Don't underestimate the simplicity of the average person. Whether we will see an instant pump for TAO once it gets listed, I don't know. Depends what conditions we are in at the time. There could even be a sell-off, as maybe those with higher allocations are waiting for more liquidity or something. Again, I don't know. All I know is for the longer term, this is a great move and definitely fantastic before alt season comes around. Elon Musk recently made a bid of 100 billion for OpenAI. Listen, mate, just tweet about TAO. I'm 90% sure it's already been mentioned to him. This guy won't miss a trick. Just one tweet, please, Elon, and we'll see what happens to both the price and to developers and innovators looking for the best platform to build upon. The incentive is there, we just require the execution. Quick update on the tokenomics, we got 71% delegated right now, which is crazy. There's always been a high percentage locked up. Supply shock could definitely impact the markets at some point. We've got 8.3 million in circulation right now, which will reach 10.5 million at the first halving later this year. Whether this dilution will have an effect on the price, I'm not sure, but one cannot really hate on the tokenomics. They're extremely similar to Bitcoin's. I want to quickly touch on DeepSeek. We saw the impact this competitor had on OpenAI, Nvidia, and other tech stocks. The critical difference between this model and OpenAI is this one's actually open source. It provides developers and researchers with the transparency they need. It opened so many people's eyes to the draw and necessity of open source AI and represents a shift towards AI democratization. Does that sound familiar? Very complementary to Bittensor's value proposition. If the AI industry really does begin heading towards openness and decentralization, it could and should make Bittensor the go-to decentralized AI marketplace. We know the markets have been unpredictable of late, fake outs to the upside and fake downs to the downside. I've already given my opinion on where I see the cycle going, so if interested, check the previous video out. But keep in mind the volatility of this space. I could make assumptions in this video, then we get some stupid black swan event to make me look like an idiot in my assumptions. Some things are, of course, out of my control. I've already given my price prediction for TAO, and in all honesty, nothing has changed. I like to be realistic about my speculation, no moonboy shouts here. But let me be frank, currently TAO is $400 or so with a market cap of 3.3 billion. Fundamentally, with Coinbase and the development of dTAO being an AI project with real-world application, everything we've discussed, were TAO to reach $100 billion in market cap, would anyone really be surprised? Before you say yes, ADA hit 90 billion and Doge hit 70 billion. Yes, this cycle may be different, but perspective is needed. That would be a 30x from current levels, giving TAO a price of $12,000. So is this probable? In my opinion, not for this cycle, but in the future, who knows? Is that a fair value for TAO? Maybe. My prediction for TAO is a lot more conservative and realistic, you could say. Minimum, it is a 4-figure coin, right? Bear case is 1 to 2k. Conservatively bullish, I can see TAO reaching 2 to 3k, giving a market cap of 15 to 25 billion. Very realistic still. Optimistically bullish, I'd like to see TAO hit 5k. That would be incredible and still over a 10x from here, around 35 billion in market cap. Again, comparatively, this is doable. Then we've got the fuck off, blow off top 2021 type shit, where it blasts through 5k, goes to 10k plus. Less realistic, although with the fundamentals and restricted tokenomics. Keep in mind the halving schedule too. Not completely out the question. Again, this is all speculative, folks, but with the potential this has, you can see why it's my #1 blue chip pick in crypto. We've got Dynamic TAO to improve the efficiency and leave the project to the market forces. We've got the best exchange listings opening up to anyone and everyone. We've got the best narrative with the highest potential, talk of the town both in the real world and in crypto. We've got the favorable tokenomics. Like, let me know people, am I missing something here? I ain't a Bittensor maxi. I'm not a maxi of anything actually. Maybe a money maxi or maxi of opportunities, I don't know. If I did miss something, please let me know. But that's the video wrapped up. I hope you all enjoyed and learned something. As always, thank you so much for the ongoing support to the channel. I really do appreciate it all. Leave a like and subscribe, and also join the free Discord. Aside from that, I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.